Welcome everyone, hope you're having a very lovely day. Today I'm breaking down the best all-around loadouts you can bring into the Highlands for the new Call of the Wild Scotland DLC. The goal is pretty simple, it must cover every class, stay flexible, and hit the ground running on day one. So let's get right into it. Scotland is known for its beautiful open hills, dense pines, and long valleys, which means you're going to need a weapon that hits hard, cycles fast, and works across multiple animal classes. Everything I'm showing today is already in-game along with the DLCs that they'll come from. I'm also going to be showcasing the best primary rifles on how they deal with the largest class animal within the map. So let's begin quickly by checking out what animals and classes we'll be dealing with. And here's our complete list of all the animals that are coming to the Scotland map. We have 17 animals in total, 5 of them being new, which the 5 new species are the Eurasian woodcock, the red grouse, the pine marten, American mink, and the European badger. Out of the 5, the largest being the European badger, making it as class 2, and the rest of the animals being class 1. In total, we have 10 animals for class 1, we have 2 for class 2, 2 for class 3, 2 for class 4, and 1 for class 5 and 6, and the largest being the red deer, which I'll be showcasing here today in just a moment with the primary rifles that you'll be using on the map. So let's head on over and check out our first loadout of the day. And here we are at our first loadout of the day, folks. We're going to be talking about the primary rifle first, which is the Frost 257. This thing covers classes 2 through 6. It has 4 rounds in it. And to be quite honest, it's a very solid rifle for classes 2 to 5. And now when it comes to dealing with Red Deer, as you guys should see in the top left-hand corner, I do have a little video playing there of this thing in action against Red Deer, which, as we talked about, is the largest animal on the Scotland map. I've shot this thing, I shot it at around 160 yards, and to be quite honest, I felt like it was mediocre when it deals with the Red Deer. However, it does get the job done. You will just have to run a little bit after it. Now, you can find this rifle in the Pump, Flip, and Fire Pack DLC. Moving on to our second rifle, we have the Virant 22 LR Express. This thing is a class 1 weapon. It has 10 rounds in the magazine, and you can find it in Weapon Pack 1. Now, the best thing about this is the magazine size, and it's semi-automatic. I don't think I need to elaborate further than that. Moving on to Strandberg 10 gauge Executive. This is a semi-automatic shotgun. It covers classes 1 through 9. It has 4 rounds in the tube, and it's a hard-hitting shotgun, and I highly recommend it. I think you can probably find some other substitutes, which I'll talk about later on in today's video, but I like this because it's good for those fast-moving animals, so you can place those follow-up shots with relative ease. We're going to move on to Loadout 2. I will talk about the binoculars, tents, and all that other stuff later on in today's video, so let's move on over to our second loadout. And here's the second loadout of the 3 that we'll be talking about today. There's really only 2 changes that we're going to be talking about, which is the primary rifle and shotgun for the loadout. And the primary rifle is the Quist Reaper, otherwise known as the SKS. It covers classes 2 through 6. It's semi-automatic, it holds 5 rounds, and it can be found in the Rapid Hunt Rifle Pack DLC. Now, in terms of dealing with the Red Deer, as we talked about, their class 6 animals, this thing actually holds up pretty swell against it compared to the 275 or the 257 Frost. In my opinion, it felt like the Red Deer dropped a lot quicker. I think it hits pretty well, and especially with it being semi-automatic, you could just double tap the Red Deer with relative ease with this thing. The recoil is not too bad on it, so I highly recommend this. This is probably the rifle I'm going to end up using the most on the new Scotland map compared to all the other 3 that we'll be talking about, but mostly just because that it has a longer range than the next rifle that we're going to be mentioning. Now, in terms of the shotgun, the Cacciatore 12 gauge is a base game rifle. I don't really need to elaborate other than that it holds probably the largest load in terms of shotguns, which is 6 rounds in the game. It is pump action, but it's pretty fast for a pumpy, so I highly recommend picking it up and bringing it along with you. So we're going to move on to Loadout 3, which is the largest loadout of all of the day, so let's head on over there. And here we are, folks, our last loadout of the day. I want to quickly say that with the tents and the binoculars and stuff, you can fit all 4 of these weapons here on the right-hand side. I just had to remove them just to fit in our honorable mentions. So let's get right into it with our first primary rifle, which is the Model 1894. This thing covers classes 3 through 8. It has 6 rounds in it. It's a fast-firing lever action rifle. Let me just give a quick little description of it. You shoot a feral goat in the front with it. It goes out the back. You shoot a wild boar in the front with it. It goes out the back. You shoot a roe deer in the front. You get the picture. It's going to go out the back. This thing is like a hot knife through butter. Do not sleep on it. It drops red deer. It just depends on how close you are. The only downside to this weapon is that it only ranges out to 164 compared to like the Quist Reaper, which I think ranges out to 364. So once you get good with the model 1894, you can just eyeball it and drop them with ease, dude. You can find it in the Ambusher Pack DLC. Highly recommend it. Do not sleep on it. Another weapon a lot of people, in my opinion, sleep on is the 22 Hornet. This thing covers classes 1 through 2. You have 6 rounds in it, and you can find it in the Mississippi Acres Preserve DLC. This thing's pretty fun. You're going to be able to take out the fox. You're going to take out the badger. Only downside is it's a bolt action. You know, these animals are going to move fast like the pine marten and the mink, so that's the only downside. You can shoot them if they're stationary, so that shouldn't be an issue, but you're going to want something that can keep up with those small animals, which leads us to our next rifle, which is the Action 22 Mag. It covers classes 1 through 2. It has 10 rounds in it, and you can find it in the Pump, Flip, and Fire Pack DLC. Now, this is another fast fire and lever action rifle. I recently just started using it. I've not tested it on Class 2 animals, but I've been using it on Class 1, and I freaking love it, dude. I highly recommend picking this thing up if you love lever actions. Moving on to our final weapon of the day, which is the Model 1897, which is basically the trench gun. This thing, I don't see a lot of people using it. I think it's pretty fun. It covers classes 1 through 7. It has 5 rounds in it, and you can find it in the Rancho Map Pack DLC. I was going to try to pronounce the rest of it, but I definitely knew I could not. But this thing is very fun to use. Highly recommend it. It is pretty equivalent to the Cacciatore, other than it just has 1 less round, but I find it fun because it's just a trench gun. And then moving on to our honorable mention, which is the MN1890. This is basically just the Mosin Nagant. This thing covers classes, I think, 3 through 7. It's a very solid bolt action rifle. The only downside is it only has soft point, no polymer. But overall, it does a pretty good job for what it can offer. I think it's another one of those rifles that not a lot of people see or use. I know a few people like them, a few people I hunt with like it in terms of using it in the game. And you can find this bad boy in the Weapon Pack. I think it's Weapon Pack 2 DLC. Yeah, Weapon Pack 2 DLC, this thing came out, and it's fun. It's got 5 rounds in it. It does pretty well, and I do recommend using it. I'll probably use it for a little bit on the day of release, but I'm going to probably use the SKS or the Model 1894 in terms of primary weapons. So that's pretty much it for our weapon loadouts for today, folks. We're going to head on over to our last section of the day. So we're at the end of today's video. This is my complete shopping list for all the weapons and stuff that I will be using on the day of release for the Scotland Hunt and Preserve. This includes scopes, the tents, the night vision, everything else that we did not cover and talk about in today's video, since we mostly talked about the weapons themselves. And you also see that we have the weapon loadouts here as well, all the stuff that we talked about. And that's pretty much it for my full breakdown for the best loadouts for the Scotland Hunt Preserve here for the upcoming update coming to Call of the Wild. Let me know in the comments down below what you're going to be running for the map, and let me know if you guys want any guides for any of the animals that are going to be coming out. Just make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and I will see you guys out there in the Highlands. Happy hunting, good luck, and I will see you guys in the next one.